Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, in a world that's just absolutely flooded with new tech, it can be a real challenge figuring out what's genuinely worth paying attention to, let alone spending your money on. So today, our mission is really to cut through some of that noise. We're going to unpack a device that's, well, it's making headlines, sure, but it seems to be aiming higher, trying to redefine expectations. We are, of course, talking about the new Samsung Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra. And look, calling it just another tablet that completely misses the mark, doesn't it? From everything we're seeing, this is a device that's really designed to go head to head with the absolute best, not just other Android tablets, but crucially, against Apple's own flagship iPads. Now, that's a pretty bold statement, and we're here to dig into why Samsung feels it can make that claim.
It really is a bold claim. And it sort of shifts this whole conversation, right? When a device puts itself up there, aiming for that top tier, it suggests something more than just an upgrade. It suggests real innovation. For you listening, it means we're hunting for those key insights, those aha moments that show how this tablet isn't just keeping up, but maybe carving out its own space, challenging what we even expect from, a portable computer these days.
Exactly. So, what's holding up that ambition? We'll dive into its really elegant design, its serious powerhouse performance under the hood, and critically, those powerful AI driven features. These promise to change how you work and play. It's not just faster chips we're looking at, it's about trying to create a fundamentally smarter, more, well, intuitive experience. Okay, let's get into it. Let's kick things off with that first impression because it is quite strong. The design and the display. Samsung has, well, they've really refined a sleek, premium design language here. That refined silver finish, for example, it doesn't just look nice, it kind of gives off this professional vibe, sets it apart from more casual-looking devices straight away. It feels like a deliberate choice.
Positioning it as a serious tool.
Right. And what's impressive about the build itself is how slim and light it feels, especially when you consider just how big that screen is. We often see these large tablets that end up feeling a bit, well, unwieldy. But the S11 Ultra somehow gives you this huge canvas without feeling like you're lugging around a paving slab.
Yeah, that's actually a really impressive feat of engineering, that balance.
It is. Maintaining that portability is crucial for anyone who's actually moving around with their tech.
And what's fascinating there is exactly that balance you mentioned. Samsung didn't just slap a big screen on it. They've managed to blend this really generous display with something that feels genuinely portable. It feels like a direct answer to that common problem. You want the big screen for getting stuff done or watching movies, but you don't want it to be a pain to carry. It really speaks to a design approach that the device has to fit into your life, not just sit on a desk somewhere.
And that display, wow, it really is a first-class visual experience. We're looking at a screen that's just incredibly vibrant, sharp, and really bright. The colors properly pop, and the blacks feel incredibly deep and, well, black.
Proper contrast.
Exactly. The sources make it clear whether you're like editing photos in detail, watching a movie, or even just reading documents. Everything feels really natural, immersive. The sheer clarity it offers, it's not just nice to look at. It actually enhances both work and leisure. Makes everything look, well, better. Okay, but a beautiful design is only half the story, right? What's really under the hood is where the Tab S11 Ultra starts to really earn its Ultra name, especially if you need something that can keep up with demanding tasks. This is where it gets really interesting. So beneath that lovely screen, you've got a pretty robust setup, 12 gigs of memory and 256 gigs of storage. Now, for listeners who follow this stuff, that signals Samsung isn't just thinking about today's apps. They're building for, heavier AI tasks and more complex software down the line.
Future-proofing, essentially.
Pretty much. It means the tablet rarely seems to stumble. Multitasking feels smooth, apps open quickly, switching between them is snappy. It just feels responsive in a way that helps your workflow instead of, getting in the way.
And if we connect that back to the bigger picture, that raw power isn't just for show. It's absolutely fundamental for supporting the tablet's most innovative stuff, namely those AI capabilities. Without that solid hardware foundation, these sophisticated AI features just wouldn't run efficiently enough to feel useful. They'd feel slow, maybe tacked on.
Right. It's the silicon that actually makes the intelligence work properly.
Exactly.
And that brings us neatly to the core differentiator here. Samsung's big focus on AI. They've integrated these multimodal AI tools, meaning they can handle different types of data like text and images, and they seem genuinely designed to make your day-to-day stuff quicker and, well, smarter. We're talking real examples like instantly summarizing a long article you're trying to skim, or using advanced image recognition. Maybe you ask it to find that photo of the dog on the beach from last summer, and it actually finds it.
That could be genuinely useful.
Yeah. And it might even offer productivity suggestions like, hey, meeting in 10 minutes, want me to open that presentation, sort of thing. But crucially, the sources keep saying these features feel surprisingly helpful, like actually useful rather than just gimmicky AI fluff.
Which is often the worry with AI features, isn't it? That they sound cool but don't actually help.
Exactly. This seems like the kind of AI that just quietly makes things better in the background rather than constantly shouting for your attention.
That's a good way to put it, that quiet improvement. But okay, playing devil's advocate slightly.
Yeah.
Are these genuinely new AI breakthroughs, or is Samsung just doing a really good job of packaging existing AI concepts into a slicker user experience? And, are there any hints in the sources that some of this AI still feels a bit beta, not quite fully baked yet?
That's a fair point. From what we're seeing, it seems Samsung's real strengths here is the integration, making the AI feel like part of the operating system, genuinely helpful within your workflow, not just separate apps you have to launch. So maybe less one single revolutionary thing and more like a whole ecosystem of smart helpers working together. Is it perfect? Probably not yet, but it feels like a significant step up for AI on a tablet. And speaking of workflow, for those of you wanting a tablet to do more than just consume media, Samsung DeX is still an absolute standout feature. It's genuinely transformative.
Text is pretty impressive, yeah.
It really is. It lets the Tab S11 Ultra basically morph into a near laptop experience. You can run apps in Windows, resize them, arrange them like on a desktop, connect a keyboard, maybe a mouse, and suddenly you're looking at a very capable mobile workstation. And when you combine DeX with those AI tools we were just talking about, well, the Tab S11 Ultra starts to look like a really impressive, maybe even compelling alternative to a standard laptop. Especially if portability is high on your list, you get that tablet convenience, but with almost laptop power and this smart AI helping out.
The best of both worlds, potentially.
That seems to be the goal. Okay, so we've covered the slick design, the serious power, the smart AI. But what about the day-to-day stuff, the practicalities of actually owning this thing? Let's start with battery life. This looks like a definite strong point. Sources suggest it comfortably gets through a full day of heavy use. And if you're a lighter user, maybe just browsing, emails, a bit of streaming, you could potentially stretch that over 2 days, which is pretty good for a device this powerful with such a big screen.
Yeah, and it apparently charges quickly, too.
It does, yeah.
Quick charging is mentioned. For me, always worrying about finding a plug socket is a real drag. So that full day of heavy use, what does that actually mean for how you'd use a tablet like this?
Well, that's key, isn't it? It's actually a big engineering challenge, powering that huge bright screen and the processor and the AI, and still getting decent battery life. The fact Samsung seems to have pulled it off translates directly into, well, uninterrupted work or fun. It means you can rely on it when you're out and about. It enables that whole portable workstation idea without you constantly glancing at the battery percentage. It's not just a spec, it's fundamental to its usefulness on the move.
Good point. And staying on practicality storage, that 256 GB internally should be plenty for most people starting out, especially with the 12 GB of memory ensuring apps don't feel squeezed, even if you're running a few demanding ones at once.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you handling really big files, maybe you edit video or have massive photo libraries, you've still got cloud options and, importantly, expandable storage.
So you're not locked in. Exactly. There's room to grow, which is important if you're thinking of this as a longer-term device. Overall, the day-to-day experience just seems smooth, enjoyable, and really adaptable. You can picture it, right? Watching a film on the sofa 1 minute, then using it to take detailed notes in a meeting the next, or maybe sketching out an idea with the S Pen, which, we should mention, is sold separately. That's an important detail for budgeting.
Definitely note the S Pen being extra.
Yeah, but the point is, the tablet seems to handle all these different scenarios really fluidly. It's like a chameleon.
And that adaptability, combined with the AI smarts and the hardware power, really does make it feel like a genuinely future-proof device. It's not just built for what you need today. It seems engineered to handle whatever software and apps are coming next. That kind of foresight helps justify the investment, making it feel less like a gadget you'll replace next year.
Right. And speaking of investment, let's touch on the value aspect. Apparently, the UK version comes with a 3-year extended warranty. Now, that adds some serious peace of mind. Given that these premium tablets aren't cheap, knowing you've got support covered for 3 years, that's a pretty big plus.
That's actually quite significant. Yeah, makes a difference.
It does. It sort of positions the Tab S11 Ultra not just as a luxury item, but as a reliable one, too. It makes that higher price tag feel a bit more like a solid long-term investment. You're buying confidence along with the hardware. Okay, so let's try and wrap up this deep dive on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra. It really does stand out as a superb piece of kit. You've got that design elegant but portable, you've got the performance handles pretty much anything you throw at it, and you've got that AI integration which feels genuinely useful. Add in dependable battery life and that versatility. It feels just as comfortable being a serious productivity tool as it does being a premium entertainment device. It's got the looks, the brains, and the muscle.
Which brings us to a really interesting final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Given the power we've discussed, the smart AI, features like DeX, making it so laptop-like, how much are devices like this starting to genuinely blur the lines between tablets and laptops? Is the main barrier left maybe just our own perception rather than a technical limitation? Think about it. What specific tasks do you currently use a laptop for that this tablet, with everything it offers, could now realistically handle? And how might adopting something like this actually change your workflow, or even how you approach being creative when you're not tied to a desk? Something to ponder.
Definitely something to think about. As always, fascinating stuff. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Samsung Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra. We hope these insights give you some food for thought about how this kind of tech might fit into your own setup. Until next time, keep exploring.